Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exclusive interview presented by Garnet Trust. I'm Kendall Smith for Gamecock Central, joined alongside of Cam Dixon. She is a junior defender on the South Carolina women's soccer team out of Cary, North Carolina. Cam, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's awesome to have you here on an interview, and we interviewed Kat Berry just a couple of weeks ago, so it's been great to get to catch up with several of the women's soccer players because of Garnet Trust, and that's kind of what I want to get started talking about today is Garnet Trust and just the impact that it can have on student athletes at South Carolina. So Cam, for you as a student athlete at South Carolina, how excited does an organization like Garnet Trust make you about what the future could hold?
Oh, it's so exciting because NIL is so new and a lot of us weren't sure how to really go about it, and we weren't even sure if people like us in women's soccer would even be really affected by it. We thought it mostly be football, basketball, but having Garnet Trust include all sports in both male and female has been great.
Well, we are so excited to be able to partner with you today, like I said, and bring this interview exclusively to Gamecock Central viewers and subscribers. And I want to talk about your soccer career because you have had such a great career here at South Carolina, but it started a long time ago. So take me back to the beginning. How did you first get into soccer? And then give me a little bit of a rundown of what your career was like until you got to South Carolina.
Okay, so when I was younger, I was involved with a bunch of different sports. And then eventually when I was around 10, 12, I decided I wanted to stick to soccer and kind of specialize in it and see where it takes me. So I joined a club team, a travel team in Raleigh, at North Carolina Courage Academy. And I did that for a really long time, all up until I graduated high school. And during high school, I was in the recruiting process is when I met my coaches, Coach Jamie and Shelly. And then the end of my freshman year, I verbally committed to play soccer here. And then I played throughout my high school career, and then I got to sign my NOI, and I came a semester early. So I graduated high school in December and then reported to campus in January of 2019, which feels forever ago. But yeah, I was a freshman then, and now I'm academically a senior, and I'll be a senior for soccer in the fall. So
Wow, that is so crazy. And I think when people think about early enrolling, they think about it a lot of the times for football players. You'll see football players graduate in December and come in January. For you coming into South Carolina in the middle of the year, graduating high school early, I mean, what was that like? I feel like that would be kind of scary being 17, 18 years old and leaving high school to come to college when you aren't even with a lot of the people who would have graduated with you had you graduated in June.
yeah, so I was basically done with my high school. I only had a few more credits to take, and I knew that coming early was something I'd wanted to do. I'd talked with Coach Jamie and Coach Shelley about it, and I thought it would give me kind of like a good head start and like allow me to transition. So when we entered our fall season, I could hit the ground running. So coming in by myself in January was it was a little scary at first, but the team was super welcoming, and it was really nice to be able to have that whole spring season to develop, especially coming from high school soccer.
Talked about committing your freshman year of high school. I also feel like that's not always the most common thing with a lot of sports. Some people waiting until their senior year to commit. Being 14 or 15 years old at the time and committing to South Carolina, how did you know that it was right for you, especially when you wouldn't be going to college for a couple years?
Yeah, so the recruiting process started so young, especially for high-level players when you're young. It started in like eighth grade for me and a lot of my teammates. I know that's changed now because a lot of the rules have changed, but I went on a ton of visits my eighth grade year and my freshman year, and I just remember always coming back and being like, South Carolina feels right. It has everything I want, and yeah, on every visit I went to, I'm like, nope, South Carolina, it's just the best one out of all of them. So I know I made the right decision, even though I was so young.
And you're from North Carolina, the Tar Heel State. So I have to ask you now, since you've been in South Carolina for a few years, which Carolina do you like better?
Oh, South Carolina for sure. But North Carolina always has a place in my heart as home.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the University of South Carolina for sure.
Of course, yes. The University of South Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, so I feel the same way. But I'll say, just like in terms of the states, I was like ride or die North Carolina. I love the state of North Carolina. It's the best. And then I came to college at South Carolina, and now I'm like, oh, like maybe South Carolina I do like a little bit better as a state. It's starting to feel more like home to me. And I know people always say the Battle of the Carolinas, which Carolina is better, North or South? And you have that unique experience of being from North Carolina and then playing soccer in South Carolina. But outside of playing soccer, you also have quite the resume with being involved on campus. You're a PR major in the journalism school, and then you also write for the Daily Gamecock, which is the student newspaper. So how did you decide that that was the right path for you? Because I think a lot of times with student athletes, they're so focused on their sport, they don't really get the opportunity to participate in clubs and organizations at school. So how did you decide to do it, and then how do you balance it all?
So coming in my freshman year, I knew I wanted to be in the journalism school because I knew I had a passion for writing, reading, creating. So I was like, okay, I want to be in the journalism school. So at first I picked advertising, but then I switched over to a public relations major after taking a class. I was like, okay, public relations a little more my thing. So I did that. And I had a professor one day who mentioned the Daily Gamecock, which is a student organization. And I was like, oh, like that's kind of interesting. And this was during COVID. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And I was like, I'll give it a try. So I signed up for it, and they got me in there, and I just started sports writing, and I had no idea what I was doing. But thankfully I had Michael Sauls and Faith Worrell, and they are amazing. They showed me the ropes, and they've honestly helped me so much. And balancing it, um, I think you can really make time for anything that's important to you. And sports writing has been something that's super fun, and is something that's outside of soccer, and it's super nice, and it's something that I can like make my own. And so balancing it hasn't been too hard. It can be hard in the fall or in the in season, um, but you kind of just have to figure out your weeks ahead of time and block out times for when you want to take games and when you want to write.
Well, you do a great job writing for the Daily Gamecock. I've read a lot of your articles, and Michael always speaks super highly of the work that you do as well. I'm sure a lot of people watching know Michael Sauls. He works for Gamecock Central as well. But Cam, going back to the soccer field, what are your goals for your upcoming senior season? It's the last one. You've done so much already in your time at South Carolina. So what are you hoping to achieve?
Um, I mean, my goals are the team's goals. I want our team to become the best they can be, whatever the season looks like. I want us to just stay together as a unit, maybe win a championship or two along the way if that's part of the plan. But yeah, just have fun with it because the 4 years fly by so fast. I just want this next year to be fun while competitive at the same time.
I love that. My goals are the team's goals. The ultimate team player, Cam Dixon. Cam, we like to do some fun rapid fire questions on these interviews, or at least I do. So are you down to answer some questions about you, like rapid fire style?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. First one is the coolest place you have ever traveled for soccer.
Oh, Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, I was not expecting an international answer. That's awesome. What is your favorite MLS team?
Um, Orlando Pride.
Awesome. Pre-game meals that you like to eat.
We always have Panera, so just like a sandwich and a soup from Panera always.
Awesome. Okay, right now the Winter Olympics are happening. So what Winter Olympic sport is your favorite?
I've really gotten into figure skating, like the pairs. I think that is so fun to watch. That has been my favorite so far. Or snowboarding.
That makes my heart extremely happy because I was a competitive figure skater for 15 years. So I always secretly hope that people say skating when I ask that question, but snowboarding is also up there as well. Super fun to watch. What is your favorite place to eat in Columbia, South Carolina?
That's so hard to choose.
You can give a couple answers.
Okay. I love Mexican food, so Cantina for sure. I like Kitchen 929. Where else? Gourmet shop, any breakfast place. But yeah, those are definitely my favorites.
Those are some quality picks. Cam, if you could give advice to a younger soccer player who wants to grow up and achieve what you've achieved and play college soccer, what advice would you give to them?
I would say enjoy every minute you have because it does go by fast, and definitely build relationships with your teammates because those are going to be relationships you take on with you even when you graduate. And then lastly, to find balance in everything you do. Not everything has to be soccer 24/7. It's healthy to find other interests and other things you like to do, for sure.
That is some great advice. So anyone who's younger and watching this, be sure to listen to Cam because she has had quite a successful career at the University of South Carolina. Cam Dixon, thank you so much for joining this on this exclusive Garnet Trust interview on Gamecock Central. We really appreciate it and wish you the best of luck as you continue throughout spring practice and head into the season next fall. We're excited to watch you.
Thank you so much for having me.